So I think it did something, but you guys tell me.
Yeah, yeah. Uh.
Everyone, it's Chanel with Color Me Stylish. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I am going to be touching on something that kind of combines makeup and skincare, which is something that I love and love sharing with you guys. So it is a trend that I have been seeing on other platforms such as TikTok and Facebook as well, occasional Twitter, not too much. And I wanted to kind of try it out for myself and kind of share that with you guys. I think it might be pretty good only because it might aid in hydration. And as I've told you guys before, I am now 42, so I like to kind of just add in different things in my makeup routine that just kind of add or aid in moisture just to kind of help plump up my skin or just make it look a little bit smoother. But I think this is something that might work for everybody. But first, let's go ahead and test it to see how it actually works and if it's even worth it. Are new, thank you so much for joining me. I do videos every week and I love doing makeup, skincare, fashion videos, and the occasional home decor as well. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your support. I love seeing this channel grow and I love sharing the things that I get to try with you guys as well. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so maybe you guys have seen some of these videos kind of swirling around social media where you kind of just take a glass of water and you're gonna go ahead and take your, whatever your favorite foundation, I'm gonna be using this one today, and kind of adding it to water and then applying it with your brush to your face just to kind of see the outcome. So that's what I'm going to be trying today, and just to kind of see, like, is it all hype? Is it for real? Is it gonna do anything, or is it basically a waste of time? So that's what I kind of wanted to try out. For me, I thought, well, maybe because, I am in my 40s, my skin is starting to change, it's getting a little bit more dry, maybe adding a little bit more water is not a bad thing. So, but at the same time, sometimes you buy things that are not so cheap and you don't want to really waste it. So I'm going to be trying this for you guys so you don't have to waste your foundation. And maybe this might be something that turns into a holy grail of what you want to try in the future, or maybe alter it in a different way. So what we're going to be using is, like I said, we're going to start with just a simple glass of water. And we're going to be using whatever favorite foundation that you do have. I am going to be using a recent one that I picked up. Don't ask me what happened to the bottle. I don't know. It was in the drawer, got mixed up with some other things. I'm on vacation. I'm just going to let it go. And this is in the foundation, and this is in the Dior Backstage, and it is in the color 8N. So I just love their color range because I found something that was pretty close to mine. So yes, and then we're going to be using two different brushes. So this is the foundation brush that the brush that I use just to kind of get in for like concealer, things like that. And this is what I normally use when it's dry, just to kind of really get in all over and just kind of get that more airbrushed look. So we're gonna go ahead and start. I've seen, some of like these videos or things like this just to kind of get you guys to try this. It's been a big TikTok thing, and so I kind of wanted to kind of jump on the trend, try it, and see if it was something that would work for me. So let's go ahead and start. I went ahead and I just put some water in a cup, just basic water. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the foundation, and I love the fact that it's got like a little, dropper in it anyway. And so that kind of like helps that I'm not going to waste too much. So I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of drop that in there. And I'm not going to put too much because I honestly don't use that much foundation on my skin anyway. So I'm just going to kind of show you guys all of that and what's in there. And you can kind of see it's just kind of towards the top there, floating a little bit. which kind of honestly does tell you how much oil is in your foundation. So that's a good test as well. Another good test, I know I don't want to go off on a tangent, but taking a paper towel or a just a brown paper bag, just tearing a sheet of that and laying it out and putting foundation on that just to kind of test and leaving it over time how much oil is in your foundation if you're not sure. So if you're acne prone or if you have combination skin like I do, it is important to kind of check and see how much oil is in your foundation, just so you're not like, making your breakouts worse and you're kind of wondering what's going on. That's a really good test to do. So with that, we're just going to go in, and what you're supposed to do is just kind of take your brush, and I'm going to be using this one right here. It's just an Echo brush. I picked this up a pack from, I think I picked this up at Marshall's for like $8.99. There was like 4 in there. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of stick this in here, and you're supposed to just kind of push that in, get some of that foundation on the brush. So I'll kind of show you guys what that looks like in there, and just kind of, get that at the end. So kind of pulling that out, that is what it looks like. So you're basically saturating your brush with the foundation in there. I feel like this is gonna make a huge mess. And then you're gonna kind of just go in. Mess number 1. That is so much water. Okay. I am going to, just with my makeup remover, because I took off my makeup before I started this video. So I'm just gonna kind of tap that off, and then I'm gonna go in and just kind of put that all around. I feel like I'm just basically painting my face with foundation, which I normally don't use this much anyway, but I'm just gonna kind of get that in there and just kind of put it all over. So what I'm gonna do actually is I'm just gonna kind of go back in with my bigger brush that I like to use when I'm using just a dry foundation with this, and just kind of buff this in. This mess and everything, just kind of going in. I mean, I've put the foundation all over my face, and just kind of, I didn't want to have to like saturate this brush, which, I can kind of show you guys. Sorry, I'm like shaking things. If I was to kind of just like stick this in there, this is basically, what it looks like in there, but this is just going to take up like way too much. Like that is just too much. So I'm not going to use that brush. I'm just going to kind of go ahead and put that off to the side. But my thoughts on just kind of, using this, I mean, honestly, I can get away with just, using a setting spray and just kind of spraying that onto the brush to start with. And therefore I can just use as little of the foundation as I want. Just to kind of, get that all over my face and get the application that I wanted, or that I was hoping to achieve. Another thing that I think that would be a really good thing to use, hold on, is this is theirs, and I love using their toner. It's been really nice. I've also been using their astringent, but just kind of taking this and again, just spraying that a little bit more onto the brush or sponge that you're going to use, and just kind of putting that all over the face. So I kind of get the concept of what this was trying to do, which was it's aiding in hydration as you're putting on your foundation. So I do like the fact that it because it had so much more extra moisture in the brush, I felt like the application did go on really smooth. I feel like my face is, moisturized. It doesn't feel cakey at all. and I was still able to use a different brush and just kind of really like blend that in. So I think for if you're living in a dry community, or not community, in a dry location, or if it's just maybe even in winter where your skin gets a lot more dry, or if you just have dry skin in general and you just want to have a more smooth application and just kind of add to that, I think that this technique is going to be for you. But again, you don't have to go through the whole hype of sticking it in a glass of water. I think, again, just save your money, save your foundation, and just use a facial spray and kind of drench your brush. Now, another thing that I would actually try with this whole method is to actually get an ice cup of water. So I think you guys have seen me, do that technique, where I actually take, my sponge, and I'm going to, add to my foundation, or put foundation on my skin with a beauty blender. And I like to kind of saturate a beauty blender in ice water. That way it's like, as you're putting on your foundation, you're just kind of tightening that skin, tightening the pores, and just creating an extra layer of just smoothness to build upon. So that can be something that you do with your brush, and just kind of dipping it in ice water if that's something that you choose to do. But as for the entire hype of putting it in a glass of water, I think I'll leave that for the 18-year-olds on TikTok to kind of play around with and come up with things for us all to try and kind of think about and see if that's something that we want to do. Okay, so I kind of went back in and just kind of put some eyebrows on because, I'm on your screen and you guys look cute, so I want to be cute too. But I was kind of thinking at the same time, now that I have on my foundation and everything, well, that's not, usually the only other makeup that you use on your skin just to kind of help with your complexion. So I of course, everybody, likes to use a concealer. So the one that I have recently picked up, and this is the Clinique Even Better All Over Concealer and Eraser. And so the only thing with that is I thought, well, if you're going to do this technique for your foundation, what about your concealer? So I love the fact that it does aid in, just hydration. My skin does feel really good right now, I do have to say. But I still need to put on concealer. So the only thing is, with a lot of our concealers, this is another color that I have just to kind of help brighten, is they come in, I like using tubes just because it's convenient, it's easy to carry, and it's not going to spill out or anything like that. So I do know that there's a lot of concealers that have more of the drop style like this. I think NYX has one, and I think even Ulta brand has one as well, but just the ones that have more of this tapered top to it, so it's easy to pour into water if that's something that you do want to continue. But again, the ones that I always buy have more of a wand, just because it's a lot easier and convenient to use. So I am going to try this method, and I'm just going to go ahead, and I got a new glass of water, and I'm just going to go ahead and dip this, or just kind of swirl it around so you can kind of see that, and just kind of put that in there so you guys can kind of just see all of that. So of course it's swirling and getting some of that stuff off, but basically the point is to have it saturated before that you apply it. So I've gone ahead and did that, and I'm just going to kind of put this on. So definitely, because it's been saturated, it is a lot more, it's a lot more creamy, and maybe that's the whole point of it. I know I'm not getting so much out on this side, but I think that's kind of the point is, you're just adding to the moisture, you're adding to that foundation. And I'm just going to kind of go back in with the foundation brush that I was using before. Now that it's been in the water, you can kind of see it just got all over. But again, because this brush is still saturated, with the water, and I did take off some of the excess from the foundation just so that you guys can see, but I think it's just in general, the whole point is to make this a lot more blendable. I think that's the whole point of what they're getting at, is it's a lot more easier to work with. It's a lot more blendable on the skin, and therefore it just aids in helping your skin look its best. And anything that can help our skin look great, I'm all for it, and I'm all for sharing that with you guys. So I'm just gonna kind of go in, and I like to take this all on top of my lid as well, just because I've said it before, I feel like raccoon eyes, especially when I wake up, where the area for me that's darkest is underneath my eyes and my eyelids. And as I'm getting older, it's getting darker. So that is it. And I know I can do a better job in blending this out, and I will. But again, is it adding to the moisture in the skin? Is it adding to that just kind of like natural glow with everything? And again, I didn't go in and blend this very well, but as it is right now, yes, adding that moisture to your foundation or your concealer, it is kind of helping it to just kind of blend out, be really smooth, feel really good on my skin. It is like 90 outside today, so my skin is definitely kind of feeling a little bit more dry. So just kind of starting this, I do like that. I get the hype. I get the TikTok-ness of it all. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good thing to kind of try. And again, even with my concealer and doing that in the morning, I would probably definitely stick that in some extra cold water, some ice water, just to help with the puffiness. And again, just doing the same thing for my face. Will I be doing that all the time? Dipping it in water, going through that whole, process? Probably not. I'll probably just kind of stick to, a facial mist, or even, a setting spray, and just kind of working that way, just so that I'm not wasting product and putting more on my face that I need to. And so I think that's what I'm going to do moving forward, but I'm glad that I tried this and I tried it with you guys. So I thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit your notifications. I upload videos every week, and I will see you guys next time.